Hello and Aloha. I'm a Baha'i. My name is Legitimacy. A whole lot of people, they think I'm a covenant breaker, meaning that I deviate from the writing of the Baha'i faith. That's not true at all. Even universal laws of justice does not bring me, believe me that I'm a covenant breaker. They just simply said something. It will be fixed in future, trust me. But for the information to you guys, I'm not a covenant breaker. Today, it's about the most important videos I have made. It's going to be about few videos, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to be talking about the legitimacy of the universal laws of justice. Is this universal law of justice is what Baha'u'llah wanted? Is it what is in the book? Is everything followed to this? And what are the problems with it? But before I go to that, I definitely need an introduction. This introduction I have to make, it's about the general understanding of the revelation of God. Let's take on 3 that we know, we're most familiar. The Christianity and Islam for the non-Baha'is. Muslim, they know Islam very well, and Christians. And the Baha'i faith for the Baha'is. The most important factor that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to understand revelation of God and doing research on it is this: that there is a definite affinity, similarity between the creation of God and the revelation of God. After all, they're made both by one person. This is, of course, for those who believe in God. If God has created this nature as we know it, from galaxies to the nature, jungle, trees, fruits that we walk in, us, things we do, the same God, we call him God, but that's what's the understanding. So this creator who has created this nature, the same creator, he has made a mechanism in the nature that he would appear now and then as is required. It's like a program. He's called on to come in a human body, in human soul actually, not just body, in human soul. It's a software that gets installed on a certain individual that is prophesied that he's going to carry the mission, and he comes and reveals the religion of God. So, this is how we have to understand it. There are a lot of problems in nature. Nature is something that we cannot live without it. Nature is when we get all our ideas, all our sciences, all the laws in nature. We get them, use them, and we create an airplane. You see? And we use the material in nature to create all kind of things. You know, all these medicines come from nature. Building material comes from nature. Name it. But nature is a double-edged sword. There are a lot of bad things in nature as well. There's poison in nature. You know, there is a typhoon in the nature. A woman gets pregnant and she can't have the baby coming out and she dies. So, now let's not talk about whether God is capable of doing this or not, or what really the nature of creation is. But this is what it is. Definitely there is a superpower, bigger, much bigger than us, behind this engineering of a body of a tiger, or our brain, you know. Somebody has made this. It can't come in random. That designer is a very special designer. He does not work Euclideans. We create mathematics. We have perfect, you know, triangles, circles, ovals, name it. But then he has tomato and potato and eggplant. None of our laws work to calculate what, you know, the circumference of a potato is. Now, knowing this, then we know there are pitfalls in the nature. The same pitfalls is in the faith of God. Why would Jesus accept Did Judas as a disciple, knowing that he would do what he did, did Jesus know this, or he didn't know? Based on the book of Quran, is that he didn't know about this. And it makes sense, because if God knows a killer tonight is going to destroy a town or a city and he doesn't do anything about it, that would be a bad God. So there's no particular mind witnessing this and knowing this is happening. No, it's not. It doesn't work like this. He doesn't know. In Quran, they say to Muhammad, do this and that and that and that. You must know the hidden knowledge. He says, I don't know those things. If I knew, I would have made a lot more money for myself. That's what it says. So, and in the book, some Muslims have asked me, what is the book? God says that this book will guide some people, whoever it wants, and also send people into darkness and astray. I said there's nothing wrong with this. It's just the same as walking in the jungle. You can have one mushroom and you die, and the second mushroom might be a fruit and a medicine. You just have to learn to know how to use it. So, Quran is for the passport. It says in order to understand and get guidance by this book, you have to know what's wrong with you, because it's like a medicine book. Muhammad is a doctor. You have to say what's wrong. You can't go to a doctor and says, I'm here, doctor says, what for? You have to complain from something. You have to say something is wrong. Then he'll guide you. And he says that's the key word, and he calls that virtue. So we have a lot of stuff like this. In Quran, for example, it says, Alim Allah, God found out. Well, we thought God is all knowing. What does that word, God realized, means? The other says, in Surah Al-Hadid, the chapter called Iron, number 22, I believe, or 24, he says, لِيَعْلَمَ Allah, till God finds out. This just does not go right with the philosophy, isn't it? No. In Bible, in Torah, you hear that God is jealous. What does that really mean? There are attitudes, there are attributes we can. Jesus gets on a donkey and they say that, sir, this donkey doesn't belong to us. He says everything belongs to the Son of Man. What is that explanation of Jesus taking somebody's donkey? He says it's mine. Okay. But Quran says, he creates a law, shall we say a precedent, that wasn't in the religion before. It's called Bada, or Naskh. Naskh means revoking. Quran is the Naskh, is the revoker, replacement of the old religion. Okay, this action of God, that he decides something and he changes his mind, is called Bada. And Quran refers to the Moses that been supposed to do it in 30 days, he did it in 40 days, 10 days later. There was a Bada, didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. A whole lot of these promises are things that has happened and has been told it is not happening. And in the Shiite religion, for example, the sixth Imam had Ishmael, where you have those Ismailis, they're a follower of the son of the sixth Imam. He appointed him as to be his successor. Then the report came that he's been drinking in public. That's what the book says, I wasn't there. So Imam decided to get him out and had his other son, Moses, the seventh Imam in the Shiites, to come in power because he was, not acting properly. Now, we have a bunch of these in the Baha'i faith, a whole lot. In the definition of Bada, Bob clearly says that's the most beautiful things that God does, which means, based on the Bada, Islam goes and Baha'i faith comes. Baha'is goes, Baha'i comes. which is similar to the verse in Quran. He says that we do not cancel or revoke our words or change our words or get rid of one verse unless they bring a better one for. So the principle of bada means to bring something and bring it later. Many people have explained this is the wisdom of God for certain times because it's like a provisional laws. When Baha'i faith comes, it comes among the Muslims. What are Muslims? A lot of them have 4 wives because it's allowed to have. So what would Baha'u'llah says? The wife Baha'i has to marry only 1 wife. What are these people are going to do? They have to divorce 3 wives with children and everything. It doesn't seem to be fair, isn't it? So just like going to the highway, there's a merge. First of all, Baha'u'llah brought the book of Aqdas very late. So the Baha'is, they knew about this, gradually trying to reduce their wives to the point that when the Kitab Aqdas was revealed, Baha'is were Baha'is that had 2 wives. So Baha'u'llah says 2 wives is allowed. Okay. Now we have another thing besides bada, it's called tafsir. Tafsir means interpretations. Not interpretation as in what it means. That would be hermeneutics, explanation. No. Abdu'l-Baha, who's the appointed interpreter of Baha'u'llah, he says that 2 wives means 1. Clearly it says 2 means 1. And this is, he says, my interpretation, because it is based on an impossible situation, that there has to be complete justice between the 2 wives. And I see that justice cannot be realized. Therefore, there has to be 1. And Baha'u'llah says, whatever my successor, who is my interpreter, says, you have to follow that. So this is another rule, that the last words of a prophet on a given subject has to be taken, not the previous ones. For example, if there are 20 different ways of creating universal laws of justice, starting from Baha'u'llah, then Abdu'l-Baha, then even Shoghi Effendi, we will have to take the last word of Shoghi Effendi as the final say on the matter. Because before that, there are other reasons that he does that. This is one part of the religion that is to understand. This revelation go on. Now you'll say that, well, what are they different from any scientists? They are different. They're not scientists. They're not people like you and I. They have a different program installed on their soul, brain, whatever you like to know. That does not make them to be like us. Tarzan learns from monkeys in jungle how to jump, how to do a lot of things. But monkeys, they cannot teach him how to think, because no monkey can think. Thinking is inside the Tarzan. As he grows up, he finds out, oh, yo, I'm not like them. I'm human. He may not be able to talk because nobody taught him, but he can think. He gets himself out of the danger by thinking. This is not what monkey taught him. Prophets of God are like that. They're different species. Many reasons for that. I've explained that before. I'm not going to get into that right now. So we know there's bada, which is God cancels, changes his previous words into something else. It is because there has to be a transition, let's say, from Christianity to Islam, from Judaism to Christianity, and now from Islam and all other religion into Baha'i faith. You see? So those transitions are considered. That's why Bab comes first, Baha'u'llah comes, and then Abdu'l-Baha comes, to explain final, pictures in front of us. But I have found other things. There are things that are really completely impossible to accept it, but yet it is being told and we don't know why. For example, Bob says, oh, as for the bird called bat, that was created at the time of Jesus. I'm not a biologist, but I 100% believe that no bat was created at the time of Jesus Christ. There must have been a lot before that, before any human being comes. Who says that? Abdu'l-Baha says, all these planets every 24 hours, they rotate. That's not the case with Jupiter. Jupiter revolves around every 10 hours. Why? But then Abdu'l-Baha says that. He defends himself. He says these are the words of the astronomers. He doesn't really take it. He's just saying that's what they said, you know. But we do have those things. Many, many, many questions like this is involved that it has to be explained. Abdu'l-Baha, for example, says that, oh, in the beginning I said hands of the cause of God. These are special people appointed by Baha'u'llah, 4 of them, Abdu'l-Baha, 4 of them, and I think Shobi Effendi 27 at his time of ascension. There was altogether about 56 hands of the cause. They are personal, shall we say, secretary, extension of the guardianship. He says, I said the hands of the cause of God has to have 2 votes. Like when we vote counts as 1, but hands of the cause is to be counted as 2. Then he said, I changed my mind. Because I thought in future some rich man comes and says, oh, I'm so big, I shouldn't be comparing with other people, I want 10 votes. So he said no, I said no, just 1. Other time he says, oh, I missed it. I left the paper somewhere and then they stole it, or paper got damaged, he says. So we see the picture of the prophets of God are not much very different from people. Let's say they were geniuses, they were a specialist. Let's say Einstein was a specialist in physics, and my favorite French biologist, Louis Pasteur, was in biology, and maybe Stephen Hawking's in astronomy. So Baha'u'llah is in religion and whatnot. No, that category is wrong. It's because Baha'u'llah is not your ordinary man like you and I. Which one of these people have prophesied, have been prophets by all the religions of the past? Which one of these philanthropists, let's say Bill Gates, can leave all his money to the last penny and goes to jail for the sake of truth? And there his children gets raped, his wife gets raped, they beat him up, and he might die. Have you ever seen? Can you imagine Bill Gates is doing that? What would you think? You think he's like insane. But they asked him, just say that I am this, I am that, they will let you go. He said, no, I'm not. We've never seen anybody doing that far. Baha'u'llah has. He left all his money. He was very, very rich inheritance from the father, who was the minister of the king at the time of Shah. He had nothing. Not even a shirt. Not even shoe when they kicked him out of the jail and sent him to banishment. That's the money, but then freedom also was taken away. To put him in jail, to die, there is son fall from floor. Who can do that? These are practical, you know. Abdu'l-Baha, who's an Iranian, just came out of the jail. He's very old, 75. He comes all the way to the United States with Baha'is with him. He comes down here in the United States, go read it for yourself, look at it. You can't believe it. So many Americans, churches, they're begging him to come and talk. What is his talk? Christianity is over, finished, the kingdom of God has come, and I'm his interpreter, I have come to teach you. Can you imagine somebody from a religion, any religion, to go in somebody else's holy place and say things like this and invite her to come? No. It's definitely a miracle. Unbelievable that Theodore Roosevelt to go to hear what Abdu'l-Baha says. You know, and many Americans become Baha'is. This is very, very amazing, you know. But yet, there are this other side I just mentioned. He says, I don't know, you know. Is one of the things that you will read, I could mention to you later on, but I can tell you that right now. Shoaib Effendi says, there were 3 dates, you know, in the Daniel. One is 1260. One is interpreted from the time of Muhammad, 1260, Bob came, which is equal to 1844, from the third rebuilding of Jerusalem in Daniel. Then there's 1290. That refers to Baha'u'llah, because 20 years after the Baha'u'llah comes, that will be 1280, but this is 1290. Why? Because the Islamic date started 10 years after the declaration of Muhammad. So starting from beginning of his declaration, it will be 1290. Then there is a date, 1335. That's Abdu'l-Baha, what is that? He said, well, all the dates are lunar. This one in particular is solar. Then they ask him again. He says that day, at 1335, it will be 100 past from the inception of whatever Baha'i faith. Well, 1863 was the declaration of Baha'u'llah. 10 years after, 100 years after, is 1963. And 1963 was the day that universal laws of justice was established. Makes sense? Not really. Because 1335's lunar solar years of Persian calendar, it doesn't equal 1963. It's 1957, the day Shoaib Effendi died. Would that be the day of the triumph of the Baha'i faith? 100 years? I was doing some research or look at universal laws of justice. Their research department says that, yeah, there's 3 ways to fulfill this. Shoaib says 1963, but then it's 1960, it's also 1957. We do not have resources to say what that means. So, what is this? How could Shoaib connect 1335 to 1963? It just doesn't work. It's 1957, it's not 1963. It's the day he died. There's no triumph. The day universal laws of justice was formed, there was no triumph of the faith happened. Nothing. That was the day the covenant breakers, they set back, they could not handle universal laws of justice because it was infallible. You know, put a damper on their claims, yes. If you can call that triumph. Well. So I'm the elder of God, I have to answer. And I've answered all kind of questions you have. It's just, I have a certain program. Let's say God is like Bill Gates. Revelations is like Windows. Every religion is a Windows. Baha'i faith is the latest Windows. But then Microsoft sees that there's a certain problem. They send a patches to put this in order to fix a certain problem. In the same analogy, I'm that patch. Baha'u'llah sent me, here's a patch to fix certain things. One of these things I've been asked, I remember a long time ago, by my crazy nephew, that he wanted to fight with me after he believed in me and everything else. Then we found out that he doesn't actually. It's just pretending. He wanted to know the answer to this. Because he said those things, I never answered them. I told him, it's very simple. Go 1335, see what happened 100 years before that. Because he says that the 100 years passed. Well, you find out in 1335 and 1235 is the day that Baha'u'llah comes out of his decision to quit Baha'i faith. Actually quit Baha'i faith. He said, I don't want to do anything with it. He called himself Darwish Muhammad. He left to the mountain in Kurdistan someplace for 2 years. Even his son didn't know it. That mad he was. Like, I don't want to do anything with it. There's no honey in this except, everything. And now, at the end of it, there are 25 people claiming they are the manifestation of God. Baha'u'llah said, thanks God, you're all in here. Do it, I'm gone. Because they're all pretending, they're not real, So, then they found out that he is there, and they went somehow, begged him, whatever, please come, and he came. The day he came was on 1235. 100 years back, 100 years after, 1335. So what happened in 1935? 57 Shoghi died. 1335 is 1956. The day yours truly was born. I am the Allah of God. I know how you are. I've watched your movies. I know where you are. You're human. So I'm not even going to criticize you. I'm just a patch. And you're human. Human. I'm not one of you. Okay. So, but it's me. I have come to solve a lot of problems, without which the faith of God will fail. He has told me personally. I asked him for help. He says, funny, Abbas, we were waiting for you. I can only help when I'm there. My help was Baha'i faith, I revealed it. Bob, myself, Abdu'l-Baha, Shoghi Effendi. That's my help. Go read it, it's in there. Doing anything more, well, you're out there on my behalf to fix it. We cannot do anything to interfere with the free will of people. If they decide to kill you and not accept Baha'i faith and even destroy the planet, be it. God has billions and trillions more planets. So it goes back, gets recycled, come back into the chain. What do you do with something wrong, with a car that's wrong? Nothing. They dismantle it, recycle it, making it better life. So whole planet Earth goes, so it's gone, too bad. But God does not just let go simply like this, okay? He has plan in place, but it's like a chess game. You guys make your move because you have willpower, and he makes his move. And it goes on. You always lose to him. Bad guys, okay? At the end, he's the winner. I know that. So, what is this then? Let's get rid of this mystical, old, thousands years of way talking about God. Does God make mistakes? Yes, sir, he does. Does Baha'u'llah regrets about few things that happened? Yes, he does. Abdu'l-Baha, of course they do. They've said it in their writing. They regret certain things. Should have been this way, that way, didn't. So then there's no God? Of course there is. We make mistakes every day compared to the sheep and the cows and dogs. We don't lose our humanity because of that. We lose our cows and sheep. We're still out there thinking. God is like this. He will not become like you and I. Manifestations of God, which are Him, in a transmission like a television program. He's not a loser. He can't. He makes mistake compared to himself, in relationship with himself. There's no competitor with him. There's no competition. If God is making mistake in relation to who? There is nobody. But is he happy from everything that's happening? No. Is he happy that the mother dies and the baby cannot be C-section because we don't know how? Of course he's sorry about that. That's why he led us to think and find a way. Even those dying of the women makes us to learn, then we think and we solve a problem. But the hallmark of the issue is this: God has not come and does not give a hoot about what our economy and our social order is. For this is not going to kill Jesus Christ, I'll tell you that right now. Or martyrs Muhammad, or send Baha'u'llah 40 years to jail. No. We have been quite capable of handling it. Canada, as a country, is not used by Baha'i faith to make it. It's a country so many years ahead of all other countries. They have to learn from it, and they will. Economy? Look. We are at a stage in life that 50 years ago in the King of England is not comparable to the gadget that you have in your house. But it's coming from something else. He's coming, he says, okay, you made Canada. I've come to make you happy, to show you how to relate yourself to each other. Make your marriages stable, your personality strong. How to enjoy, to give, and yet enjoy. Love giving, love helping. Enjoy to be humbled, humility. See the other person beside you. He's another piece of a jigsaw puzzle. Let him be black, let him be short, let him be ugly, let him be dark. He's another piece. If he functions himself, another piece in the jigsaw puzzle. All of it have to come together to create that collective called humanity. So, a spiritual mission, that is what God comes, because we can't do it. We make all the economy, we have all the money, all the social power, and then we're depressed. Donald Trump is suffering from achievement deficit disorder. Why does he want to be a president when he can go to any country at any time? The head of the state's more than willing to tell him, please come. They didn't know he's crazy, now they know it. But why might he do that? Because he thinks, I want to be there to do this for America. He's not, he can't. He's too small to do that. He's suffering from achievement deficit disorder. So money doesn't help, it seems. Social power doesn't seem. It helps, that's fulfilled. Why would Bill Gates give his money away? Why is he? What is he enjoying about giving? What giving does that to you? It does. You have to ask him. As Mother Teresa lose all her life. As Nelson Mandela was 27 in jail. Some of us have done that, but the biggest problem we have is disunity. Baha'u'llah has not come to get rid of bad people. There are not much bad people on the planet, honestly. Their numbers very dismal. They're good, but they do not get along. They are not getting united. He has come to make the good people to get along, because if you don't get along, then the bad gets created. So the source of bad is when two people are not, getting united. So, this is very important, what I just said tonight, in a study. Any religion of God. Now you say that you don't want it. Go and live without it. There's no force. But you can't. You end up doing your own spirituality. You enjoy, like Bill Gates completely enjoys, because he's giving, feeling and all that. Yet he doesn't know the consequences of these things are not that glorious that he's thinking is. When he dies, his laptop is taken away from him, which is his body. Then he has nothing but the file, Bill Gates, that he wrote it himself. And then he's embarrassed like hell. That even with so much goodness in heart, so much humility and humbleness, down to earth this guy is, the result has been catastrophic. He saved the life of a lot of people that they turned into Hitler and killed other people. Because he didn't know that he has to go and find out what energy can unite mankind. He didn't understand Baha'u'llah and the Baha'i faith. So, as Shawi Effendi says, I finalize this program, he says that Baha'i faith is a relative truth. There is no such a thing as an absolute truth. Relative to today, to who we are, this is the truth. Okay? And knowing this fact, Baha'u'llah has ordered the universal laws of justice to be elected by people to function like a live prophet, bring new laws. But there are things with it that we have to know how to assemble it properly. It's like one of those IKEA things, you buy it and there's just manual. Based on the manual, you have to put it together. The next topic is this. Was the manual written in the Baha'i faith was used to create universal laws of justice? The answer is that yes and no. We'll talk about that later. Allahu Akbar.